Okay. So, hello everyone, welcome again. So, this is module 7. We are halfway through the course, I guess, right? Nearly. And engaging with assessment for learning is today's topic. So, here are the learning outcomes. So, you will have this opportunity to identify key concepts, characteristics, and purpose of assessment for learning and select and examine assessment activities. We will again apply assessment for learning activities in a classroom setting using and adapting it, using one sample from your course books again. But before we do this, let's remember the key concepts. What do you know about these assessments? Formal assessments, peer assessment, self-assessment, informal assessment. Which ones do you use? If you can give me some examples. Do you use any of these assessment for learning approaches, techniques? Yes, Bayan.
Yeah, of course, we use them. For example, today I used peer assessment. There was a question for the fourth grade uh, using verb to be. So it's on the book. After we took several examples using is or are, I let them answer the question. Then every two students next to each other, they tick or cross the answers. Then we answered them on the board and they recheck them again.
Okay, so you asked them to check. So you gave them the checklist, the answers they checked themselves. Is that?
Yeah. After they checked it themselves.
Nice. Yes, this is a kind of self-assessment, right?
Peer assessment.
They checked each other's work.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Thank you. That's nice. Using the checklist. That's nice. Okay. What about others? What do you do? How do you do self-assessment? I will take some notes if you don't mind, because I will have a live session this week on Facebook on Teaching English on British Council's courses for teachers. And this week's topic is, interestingly, such a nice coincidence, it's about learner-led assessment. If you have some time, you can watch live, but if you have classes, you can also watch the recording. It will be on Teaching English website. And I had a brainstorming with my colleague today about self-assessment. We will talk about portfolios, e-portfolios, digital paper-based portfolios as form of self-assessment. So I might mention your ideas there as well, if that's okay for you, because you are actually practitioners, you have a lot of experience. So please tell me how you implement these, especially, self-assessment, peer assessment, any examples? So maybe we can start with the definition of it. What do you understand by self-assessment? Yes, Laila?
Good evening, all. I think self-assessment is when the teacher allows students to rate themselves, to see their strength area. This kind of assessment help or encourage students to take their tasks more seriously and organize their work. So
Okay.
the students rate themselves.
That's a very good point. Yes. So when we actually, help them self-assess, they think about their work, right? So it's
Yes. Yes, that's
their awareness, agency. It's actually, I think it's a part of metacognition. So it increases their awareness about their learning process.
yes. They think of what of their learning.
Yeah.
The metacognition. They think of their learning.
They think of their learning. Yeah, that's a very good
Yeah.
point. And did you know that teachers who think of their learning allow their students to do self-assessment more? So
Yeah.
also it's about teachers learning. So because if you believe in self-assessment, then you ask your students to do it.
Yes, I believe in it, but sometimes it's يعني the students can't treat themselves in a good way. So why some teachers avoid this kind of assessment because students may sometimes give wrong feedback and not don't know how to find their errors. This is a time consuming. I consider it sometimes a time consuming
Hmm.
because they don't know what to rate, and we don't have usually with the new curricula in Jordan here, we don't have enough time for self assessment,
Hmm.
and sometimes they judge themselves wrongly, either positive or negative.
But do they what exactly they judge? So do they check their correct answers? Is that self-assessment, or what exactly do we ask them to do in self?
We give them the criteria before, and I give them the criteria for assessment. But sometimes some students are so sensitive to find errors or to judge themselves because how can I say that? Some students don't want to find mistakes or errors in their work, or to put tick, for example, or X wrong on their writing or on their grammar activities.
Oh, that
So sometimes it's very sensitive to have peer assessment or self assessment in the classroom.
okay, I understand. So there are so many challenges, right? But
Yes.
what about asking learners, for example, um, if they found an activity challenging, easy, the kinds of things that they can do actually, not to check their errors, not to find their errors, but to check their performance, to assess their performance. For example, did they make enough effort, or did they try hard? So not just on the errors themselves, but about their performance
Yes.
and efforts. Maybe we can ask them to self-assess themselves.
Yes, the process. You mean the process of learning, not the product, the production.
Yes. Do you? But yeah, I totally understand about the time pressure, right?
Yes.
Another.
Um, we say each class that no, there is no wrong answer.
Mhm.
We learn from our mistakes. We teachers sometimes make mistakes or make errors, but the students who are my students are teenagers and they are girls, so they are so sensitive for doing some errors or some mistakes.
Okay, so
This maybe this is related to my school, not all the teachers, but I feel that in my classes. So
okay,
they are so sensitive, the girls especially.
okay. So thank you so much for sharing. There are, of course, some tools maybe that might help with formal assessment,
Yes.
informal assessment. We will talk about all of these, but I like the idea of, uh, assessing the process as well, not just the product.
Process. Yes.
Yes, I mean,
Thank
this is
you.
also at least, to increase their awareness about what they have done, how much time, because usually when students fail, they associate this failure to lack of ability or lack of competence. I can't do it, I didn't learn it. But actually, we should help them see that it's maybe better to associate it to lack of effort. If that's the case, then they can take
Oh,
an action.
not mistakes and not right answer. So
Mhm.
we should assess their efforts.
help
there
them,
were.
yes, help them see that it's not because of lack of ability, it's because of lack of effort. But if we say this to them, they won't understand. They should
Yes.
realize this. But of course, it's a process. It's not easy. It takes time. This is part of the learning process, actually. If they see that, it's fine. But if they make an effort, they will succeed. So that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, peer assessment, I totally agree with you. It's very difficult with teenagers. They can be really harsh. And it's a teaching moment as well. It's an opportunity to teach them that, how to be kind, how to be polite, constructive. This is also part of their learning. So we'll talk about all of these. Let's move on, everybody. Okay, so we will. Anything else? Anybody would like to add anything? So which of these assessments do you do in your classes? When and why? Anybody else would like to add anything? Okay, let's move on then. You will perhaps have more ideas. So, okay, now look, I'm assessing I'm assessing this activity now. So which one do you think, this task, the previous question, was it interesting, okay, boring, difficult, or easy? So let's, I can give this annotation. I'm not sure if you can do it, but if you can highlight one of these answers or write in the chat what you think. Let's assess this. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. All right. So, it's such quick polls. We can also help learners assess themselves, assess their own learning, assess the classroom activities. What other ways can learners and teachers assess learning? So sometimes we can use thumbs up, thumbs down, 5 fingers. So asking learners if they agree, maybe they can stand up with their body, with TPR we can use. What other ways do you have to help learners assess learning? Using emojis, yeah, Dua says. Checking understanding in different ways is really very important. I know some of you also mentioned colored cards. Okay, Fatima, would you like to tell us about colored cards? How do you use them? Bayan says thumbs up most of the time. Okay, that's a good point. Sometimes if we ask students, do you understand? They say yes. It's maybe dangerous not to use thumbs up all the time, then all the thumbs will be up. But if they are really understand, that's a good sign. Wafa says exit cards. Okay, great. Please tell us more about these. What do you mean by colored cards? Dua, how do you use emojis? Wafa, what do you mean by exit cards? So can you just tell us more?
Yes.
Yes, please.
For the emojis, for example, the happy face means that you enjoyed the task and you liked it. It was easy and you understand it. The sad one, that you, for example, I didn't understand the task or the things you are explaining. It was difficult, hard. Yes.
Nice. Great. Do they draw it or they hold some cards?
No, they hold cards. We put them in the class and we use them each time.
Really? Okay, I
But
see.
for the beginners, for the lower classes, not for high classes, yes.
Nice.
And I use it actually with my kids also.
How do you use it with them?
Yes, now we are doing some homeworks And yes, if they feel that they understand it and everything was good at school and things were easy, they use the smiley face. But if they don't, as what we are doing now, she didn't understand, so we having the sad one.
That's a very nice idea because
Yes,
those understanding emotions, expressing emotions are so
yes,
important at that age level, right? For our
yes.
students. Thank you. Very nice idea. And Fatima says, it means I have something I need. I need some help. Green, everything is clear. Orange, I need little help. I love it, Fatima. I love it. Wow, this is such a great idea. Perfect, especially for large classes, right? I think. How do students use it? Do they know what I mean? Use it frequently, or how long did it take for you to train them on these techniques? Because it's kind of maybe at the beginning, maybe they might be shy. Was that the case?
May I comment on
Yes,
this?
please.
Maybe when students put these cards up, and maybe they will find other colleagues facing the same problem, and maybe I could count who are the students who get or have a problem in something, and make them a group and ask someone or one of the colleague one of their colleagues who is maybe left up the green card, and trying to help them, or try a new strategies with them.
This also works in group work so well, right? These are great ideas. So these are also building that teamwork within the classroom, trust within the classroom, because they feel that they are heard and they can express themselves in different ways. It makes classes more inclusive. Teacher can see them, hear them, or they can get help when they need help. These are really important. I mean, they sound really very little steps, but they mean a lot for students. So thank you so much for these great examples. Okay, so here are some other activities. So summary sentences, sentence completion, pair, share, or think, pair, share. What I know, what I want to know, what I learned, these KWL charts. Traffic lights, very similar to those green lights, red lights, traffic lights, and exit tickets, post-its, thumbs up, 2 stars, and a wish. Success criteria, can-do statements. So please tell us which ones you like and why, okay? And which ones you think you should use, or maybe which ones you tried. Next lesson, which one would you like to try? Okay, so you will be reflecting on this. So think about it, think about your classroom activities. And I look forward to hearing from everyone. Maybe I should put you in the breakout rooms, because here at the moment, class is really quiet. Okay, so I would like to see who is active, who is not, so that we can assess our performances through that way. Okay, I'll create 4 breakout rooms and I will be visiting the rooms. Please, everyone, take a picture of these slides, okay? And tell us which ones you use. I will also take a picture and share in the chat. So, okay, you talk to each other about your experience on these activities. Which ones you used, which ones would you like to use, what works, what doesn't work, and why. Okay, so let's have a discussion for 10 minutes, and then after 10 minutes, we will come back and have another breakout room activity.
Can you show the picture again?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, we didn't get it.
Okay. No worries. Okay. Can you see it? All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
All right, then let's open the room. See you in 10 minutes then. We won't summarize, we will just move on to the next task. So please make sure you discuss in detail.
They
Uh,
learn, and if they have any question about the class.
this is what is called exit tickets.
Yeah. They stick on the board at the
Sorry.
end of the they stick it on the board at the end of the class.
Nice. What about traffic lights? What do they mean by traffic lights? That if everything is okay to the green light and so the yellow, the red one is for nothing.
If they don't have any question or it's green, and if they don't understand, they raise red one.
What about self-assessment? I like the assessment for students. Even in the books, there is self-assessment included in the at the end of each unit, right?
Yes.
I think
Uh,
I
yes,
think it's good.
yes, it's good. They can rethink about their learning and
Uh-huh.
use it to enhance their learning.
I prefer it because the student himself uh, can elicit what he has learned in the class or during the class.
They can follow their progress.
Uh-huh. ال KWL what I think it's the same for the exit tickets, right?
If we
Yes, the
decided to,
KWL. The
yeah,
KWL want to know, what learned. Yes, they can, for example, write them on note cards, and they can, for example, at the end of the class, for example, and
yeah.
they can give it to the teacher. And then I can read them, and I will have, for example, an idea. I know what I'm going to do, for example, next class, where to focus, if I want to go back and explain something,
Okay,
depending
they
on
are still high level students.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
about the young learner?
yes.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 for high
High level.
levels. Yeah, traffic lights,
5, 6.
exit. Yeah,
exit
this
tickets.
exit tickets. This
What
for
do you mean of post-its?
post-it اللي هو you know what اللي هو الستيكي notes. It's like it post-it.
Ah, okay. I think thumbs up is much easier. Yeah.
when I
Yes.
said to her,
I think we
thumbs
use
up
them all
most
the
of the
time.
time. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
She
it's
said that is dangerous.
and when students love you, they all will write their thumbs up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, I use
يعني
this thumbs up with
afraid
the
of afraid of making you sad. No. You understand? Yes, yes, teacher. And okay, and there's
you get upset at the
So as we said that I will use thumbs up, thumbs down strategy activity because I'm teaching young learners, so it's something good for them. Next time, maybe I will use Ruqayya, the exit cards or sentence summary. I will choose maybe one of them to assess my younger students. Inshallah. What about you?
Um, Actually, me too. I like the colored card, which we call it traffic light, I think.
Yes.
Yes, that's the name of it. I think that will be helpful with shy students to
Yeah.
reflect of their learning. Yeah, because I find it difficult to generate what they feel. I find it a good idea, actually. They don't
Yes.
need to express their feeling loudly, just to write down what they
Maybe
feel.
the image I like.
But the students were very enjoying themselves in that
Okay.
activity. For me, I didn't find it very useful, but I don't know. I see a reflection that the students were enjoying themselves with that strategy.
That's for children. Okay, you are the spokesperson because you know more about them. Okay, we are room number 4.
Okay, ماشي.
Okay. Uh,
Okay, welcome back, everybody. So we will move on to the next activity. So we won't have time to report back from the groups. Okay, so let's wait until everybody joins us. So you discussed with each other about the kinds of activities, right? Okay. So everybody is back. So you now have an idea about which activities others are doing. So any questions about these? Anything you would like to ask the group? Okay, so everybody is clear about all of these activities?
Sirem, just to make sure about the 8th point, 2 stars and a wish.
Uh-huh.
Does it mean that 2 things that you understand and things that you want to learn?
Yeah,
Is that right?
yeah. That could be one. 2 things you understand, and then 1 thing you want to, or 2 things 2 things and 1 wish, 2 things that you enjoyed, and 1 thing you would like to have more. That could be different versions. So yeah, 2 stars and a fish can be adapted in different ways.
So what about number 9, success criteria? The only one we didn't talk about.
So what do you think? Anybody would like to comment on this? Oh, it's about, Noor.
We in our group we discussed that if we have 2 kind of levels, let's talk about primary or young age students. We would recommend using traffic lights, exit tickets, and post-its, like a fun, active way of assessment students for themselves and the class. But if we are talking about a more higher level of education, I mean older students, we would use 1, 2, and 3, like a summary sentence, pressure, or what know, want to know, and what learn. Because I mean, summary and writing, these kind of things need a skill that students know in previous levels or should be trained on before doing it.
Thank you. Good points. Excellent. Thank you so much. Is it a prepared checklist? Yes. So it could be a kind of checklist. It could be about writing. So it could be about their task itself, what they should be doing, what is expected of them to complete the task, and they could put some stars or they could put some success criteria. Shouldn't be too complicated. It can be very simple, or if you have higher levels, you can make it a bit more complicated, but simple is better, so they can assess themselves according to the criteria. So there could be different versions. Now let's brainstorm together. So here are some lesson tasks. Let's discuss very briefly what type of assessment you could do for each activity and say how and why. For example, Simon Says. Think about the activity, the game Simon Says. How would you check their understanding in this activity? What type of assessment could you do for Simon Says?
Checklist.
How would you do it? Can you tell us briefly?
For example, I can say, did Simon say he wants an apple? Yes or no? Or maybe lights. Traffic lights would be better. If they yes, they will raise a green light. If it's no, they will raise a red light.
Okay. So Simon's, but you want to check here your students' understanding of the vocabulary or instructions. So we can do some observation, right? With Simon Says. So we check, we observe, we can observe, and for example, Simon says touch your nose. But if they touch their eyes, that means it's not working. They don't understand. So what is the assessment here? What type of assessment are we using here?
Observation.
Informal, I think. Informal assessment.
Yes. So
Engaging
Yeah.
assessment also.
exactly. For the second one, teacher tells a story. What type of assessment? So you are telling a story, but you also want to assess their
Maybe follow on a question.
very good idea. Yeah, with some comprehension questions. Or sometimes I used to do this a lot. If you say something completely irrelevant while telling the story, and if they notice that, that means they are listening. So you can also assess their attention. So you are telling the story, and then you say that, and then I ate ice cream, which is not in the story. And then they say, what, ice cream? Okay, then you are listening to me. That kind of.
Yeah, it's a nice way. I will use it.
Or we may ask them to retell the story. Oh, I forgot where were we? Then if they tell you, remind you, then they are listening. Next one, teacher is explaining grammar to the students, and you want to check their understanding or learning. What do you do? What type of assessment you use? Ahmed?
We can use the traffic light.
Can you repeat that, please?
We can use traffic light.
Okay, great. How would you use it?
Understanding.
Can you give an example how you would use it?
Okay. We can, after the grammar lesson, the students will show color card, green understand, yellow not sure, red confused, or ask
Very good
or
idea.
ask them to write why they're not understanding if they raise the red color.
Okay. But they shouldn't write in English, I guess, right? Because if they have difficulties, they won't be able to express. So, but yeah, it's a very good idea. What about CCQ or ICQ? No, not in that case. CCQs, concept checking questions, right? Do you use those questions, concept checking questions? For example, which grammar, present perfect tense. I have been to Australia. So has this person been to Australia recently, or was it a long time ago? When this event happened, is she or he still there? You know, those kinds of questions help you check their understanding. Okay, what else? Sentence completion. What about next one? Flashcard games. You are using flashcard games. What type of assessment can you use?
I think informal assessment through participation and performance of the students. If they like participate in the classroom, so it will be okay for them, and they for example understand the flashcard games. If they didn't participate, there's something wrong about that.
That's a very good point, actually. Yeah, their participation is also a kind of indication of something. Do you use flashcard games mostly for vocabulary or Bayan?
Yeah, of course, for vocabulary, for example, flashcards with pictures and other with the vocab itself. So I stick the pictures on the board, spread the words for the students, and they go to the board, stick each word with its picture.
Okay, so that way you can actually
Yeah,
observe.
check their understanding for the word or vocabulary.
Yeah, this game itself is an assessment technique, right?
Yeah, it's like a gamification for them.
Very good idea. Intisar?
Yes, for me, for the game flashcard games, I hide, for example, a vocabulary, a word. Then I make them ask me questions, yes, no questions, to guess the word that I'm hiding. So this is the game I use when I want to check their understanding of the vocabulary. Yes.
Very nice. Yes, great ideas. Well, so many great ideas. So let's now apply these, see how we can apply these in real life with that classroom, with that page from one of your course books. And here are the questions. So firstly, what kind of assessment could you use with that page? And what assessment for learning activity would work well with it? And what criteria or can-do statements could be used to check their learning? So here it's an activity, so it's a vocabulary task. First, they listen, point, and repeat. So about different types of hair, and how many other adjectives to describe people you know, and then another listening activity. They listen to this poem and read and then describe a person from the poem your partner guessed. So it's a kind of game here, and write a poem about your family. So how would you check their learning in that kind of activity? Let's brainstorm for 10 minutes, okay? I will put you in the same groups again. And then we will come back very briefly. We need to make it like 1 minute for each group, okay? I'll give you 10 minutes for this again. Please take a picture of this page again, or try to remember it's about the vocabulary about hair and how we describe people we know through a poem and then a poem reading and writing activity. Okay, I open the room. See you in 10 minutes. Hello, Fatima, Mohammed. Are you able to join the breakout room? So we will. All right, everybody. So let us know your thoughts. What did you think? Okay, let me. Yes, Intisar, your group.
Okay, so we are group number 3. So we have two things to share it. Maybe informal assessment we can use. For example, the teacher maybe will draw or have a picture of a boy or a girl, and then start to ask questions. For example, does they have, for example, curly hair? If they agree with the teacher, maybe they will put their thumbs up or thumbs down, and it's a kind for the teacher, a whole class, for example, discussion, a whole class assessment to check their understanding of the meaning of the adjectives they took. Another kind of assessment, because the activity is about like listen, point, and repeat. So about repetition, repeat, pronounce the words correctly. Maybe she will give the students an exit card, not exit card. Let's say a card that has can do statements. For example, I can pronounce the words correctly. I, for example, can use the adjectives, two adjectives, okay? And at the end of the class, as a kind of self-assessment, if they can do this, maybe they will put a tick on yes or no, according to the can-do statements. So these the two things that we share in our group, which is formal assessment and self-assessment.
Yes.
It's depends on the class and depends on the teacher what she want to apply in her classroom. So it depends also of the age of the learner. So this what we discuss in our group. Thank you.
Very good ideas. I really like both of them. At the end of the day, our purpose here is not to grade them, right? The purpose is not to grading. The purpose is to help them see what they have done, how they performed, and to also help you see, to check their understanding in the first one. So these are really valuable ideas. Thank you so much. And yeah, it's like there was an example. Imagine, you cook a soup, and in formative assessment, actually, as you cook the soup, you check the salt, right? If it's too salty, you add some water. If it's too thick, you may add some water. Or if it's not that thick, you add some other ingredients. So kind of, we check this together with the learners. So if we just don't check the soup at all, and if we check it at the very end, just before we serve to the guests or to the family, we never know. So formative assessment gives students an opportunity to relearn or to catch up with the pacing, or it gives an opportunity for you to add more, cover some areas. So it's really important, formative assessment, something we should be considering all the time. And also self-assessment, very important indeed. So anybody else? We have 2 more minutes. Any other ideas from other groups? Yes, Ahmed.
Okay, we use thumb up and down to check the understanding of the students.
Yeah.
And we can use traffic light. Students show green, which mean I can describe. Yellow, I need more practice. Red, I don't know yet.
Okay, great. So then you can see how you want to cover that again. Noor, what about your group?
Yeah, we choose 2 ways of assessments for both question number 1 and 3. For the pictures, we agreed to use the post-its as a way of showing students some after describing and showing the vocabulary and their meaning. We show students pictures with people have multiple features, and ask them to go to the board and stick their answers on, or the correct adjectives under the picture as they see it. And for the third question about the poem, we use the Persia after explaining or listening to the poem. We, as a teacher, to make things much easier, I would make students work as a pair, give the first student a card containing a description for someone in the poem, and this student must or have to ask his colleague which person am I speaking about. Yes.
Nice. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for your ideas. You will find more ideas in the module. So I recommend you take some notes and you try to apply them. See how it goes. Self-assess yourself. Come back again. So remember, we have an assignment this week. Don't forget, you have 2 weeks. And yeah, if you need any help, I'm a click away. So have a lovely rest of the week and hope to see you next week, inshallah. Any questions, let me know.